you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the only things that makes official welcome to Book Show. As always, the Chris Voss Show. Family loves you, but doesn't judge you as harshly as the rest of the world because you're family. You're here to grow. You're here to learn. You're here to listen to all our wonderful authors and guests to make the world better. Hopefully, you contribute and pay back and pay forward. Refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and all those crazy places we are on the internet. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today, an amazing young lady on the show. We're going to be getting into her book entitled, Is Your Way in the Way? A self-discovery guide for women on how to restore yourself, learn from experience, and find your true self again. Cassandra Crawley Mayo joins us on the show today. Now I have Mayo on the brain and thinking about chicken sandwich, but we're going to interview her because she's not a chicken sandwich. She's a wonderful person who's written an amazing book. She has spent more than 3 days breaking barriers in corporate America, becoming the first African-American woman to hold every leadership role she attained. Today, as a #1 best-selling author, speaker, and podcast host, she helps women identify and overcome their hidden beliefs, fears, and patterns that keep them stuck. Through her book and Rise Above Limits movement, she empowers women to live with greater clarity, confidence, courage, and purpose. Welcome to the show, Cassandra. How are you doing?
I am doing great, Chris. Thanks for that great introduction.
You wrote it, or somebody did. It wasn't me. I'm just the mouthpiece. But
okay.
People offer me to pay to follow them around and introduce them every time they walk into a room.
I don't think you want to tell them that, but okay.
Yeah, hear ye. Entereth the room now is Cassandra Crawley Mayo. All bow before. I can do that at your family outings too. That works good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk afterwards.
Give us a .com so people can find you on the interweb, young lady. Can you give us a .com?
CassandraCrawley.com.
Any place else you want people to find you on the web?
Absolutely. All you have to do is put in Cassandra Crawley or Cassandra Crawley Mayo, and I am on all the social media platforms with the exception of Substack, but I'm getting ready to get on that now. So you can find me mostly anywhere.
Cassandra, give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside your book?
Absolutely. Chris, you actually said it when you opened the show. This book, the 30,000 foot overview, is a self-discovery guide for women on how to restore yourself, learn from your experiences, and be your true self again. And I wrote that to give you a little bit more. That enables women, what I say, to start living their best life on their terms. No, that's not a cliche. What that is about, I would love people to start maximizing their happiness, their authenticity, and their fulfillment. Okay. And what I'm finding, even with myself and other women that I've coached and worked with, we have so many barriers. We are not living the life that we were ordained to live. Many of us are not. So I'm on a movement. It's time for us to rise and be who we were created to be. That's what it's all about.
What are the issues you're seeing with women right now? Or is it maybe some of the top one or two that you're seeing a lot of people when they come to you that they need fixing?
Many of us, and I'm saying us because the book was written based on my experiences as well. One of them is, and also the book is comprised of love letters to women. It says, "Dear women who compare yourself." That's one of the chapters. "Dear women who have self-esteem challenges or dear women who wear a mask. So those are just a few of the chapters, because based on us wearing that mask, comparing ourselves to other people, and just not being who we were created to be, we get stuck. We don't move forward, and getting stuck is really not a good thing. So I'm here to help people get unstuck.
Yeah. I giggled in my head when the title of your book, I was reading it, Is Your Way in Your Way? Because man or woman, I laugh because I was like, I've done that a lot. You're looking at patient number 1 here, and I've done that throughout my life. I've often, what's the old Stoicism sort of mantra? The obstacle is the way through. And a lot of times we are the people that are in our way, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A lot of times, does it come down to self-accountability? There's a lot of victimhood Olympics in today's world. Everyone seems to just try and outdo each other on, no, I'm a bigger victim than you are. Here's my story. And you're like, God, when do we turn into a victimhood society?
I know.
And, people are in their way. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We are so competitive. Why not compliment each other opposed to being competitive? Because you actually lose a lot of stuff. And let me tell you this, Chris. One day, I read an article by a woman by the name of Bonnie Ware. And she was actually interviewing, and you may have heard about this, patients that were transitioning. She was a hospice nurse. And she asked them, what were their 1 regrets? And there were actually 5 regrets. Now, the 2 of the regrets, I just, oh my gosh, it just put me on a path. The 3 is simple. I wish I didn't work so hard. I wish I would have visited, had spent more time with my friends and traveled. But the 2 were, I wish I were true to myself, and I wish I were happier. And when I read that, I'm like, oh my gosh, why? Why can't we be true to ourselves? Why can't we be happier? So that actually put me on a path to say, wow, what is stopping us? What are those barriers? Why are we comparing ourselves to others? Why are we so competitive? Why? And then what happens is we have these, what I call these internal barriers, and people are like, okay, I get it. It's not the outside, it's the inside. I'm like, that's true. So what are we going to do internally to move the needle a little further? Because who wants to get up in the morning and just go through the motions? I mean, why are we here? That puzzles me.
Yeah. Your book and your data and some of the stuff we'll talk about that's on your website you use to help people, the tools, they can be used for both men and women too. I think we're talking about the show about broadly opening this, but like I say, as a guy, I can think of a lot of stuff where I've done that. I don't know if you want me to cover this, but the book, the top 5 regrets of the dying, I guess is the Bonnie Ware book that you're referring to.
Yes, exactly.
And I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself and not what life others expected of me. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I hadn't had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends, and I wish that I had let myself be happier. Those are pretty 5 amazing regrets, really.
They are. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Was that the inspiration from the book, or did you, this is part of in the development of your concepts and ideas and your training that you incorporated this?
The inspiration is one of my first 2 chapters. And of course, we don't have time to talk about it, but I talked about an inner body, an outer body experience that I had at the airport. I will tell you this, I've been wanting to write a book probably for 8 to 10 years. And I couldn't do it. And the reason I couldn't, I didn't want to expose myself. I didn't want people to know my backstory. I'm like, who would read about me? Nobody knows me. I'm not Chris Voss. You know what I mean? I'm like, who am I? And all of that made me not right. It was all that self-doubt. Yeah, I was successful. There are a lot of people successful. Don't think it immunizes self-doubt. So that was my issue. And then when I think about today, if I did not write the book, oh my gosh, it would have been devastating. It was like a fire in my belly that would not let me not write that book. And during COVID, I finally wrote the book, and being a number one seller, I was just, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. Just looking at the reviews, how it's just supported and helped people. Hey, that makes me feel really great. So
there you go. That's good. I'm glad the fire in the belly was a book, because these days it's Taco Bell and diarrhea for 2026.
Right, exactly.
If you're seeing this 10 to 20 years from now on YouTube, that's what that's refers to. You'll have to Google the joke. We have to give notes to people, because we've had the podcast on YouTube has been up for 20 years. And so people literally like shame us for you reviewed the iPhone 1. It's not $300 anymore. It's like, whatever. It's a 20-year-old video. So now you sit down and help people unlock these things where people are getting stuck. They're getting in their way. I don't know if you address this in your book, but I know a lot of times we have these things called scotomas or blind spots where we can't see where we're in our way, right?
That's
How do you help people with that and help them? I imagine with a coach, the great thing about a coach is a coach can see outside you and be like, here's where you're mucking up. And you're just like, what?
Yes, of course. And a lot of it has to do with your beliefs, your stories. We all have them, bad, good, or indifferent. And one of the things, I have a program called the Rise Beyond Journey. And one of the things, and actually that's an acronym, of course, and the R is to recognize what is it that's stopping you. So we go through a plan like that. And I also have a companion journal that's associated with the book. Oh. And what I do initially is take you through a self-discovery of yourself. It's going to be a challenge, but if you're ready to get unstuck and do what it is that you believe you were here to do, then I think you will do it. I've noticed I have clients that do that. And then from that point, then we need to start interrupting that perfectionist, interrupting what mom and dad said, all that icky stuff. And then from there, it's time to surrender. You need to give it up. Stop driving the wheel and give it up. And then from that, the rise is the embrace. You don't need to become her, because remember, you're already her. So start embracing what you have captured, what it is that you want to do. And then it's time to build a life that does not burn you out. Okay. And then the last part is L, limits. It's time to launch. It's time to rise. And that's why it takes 6 months to do that. So that is the methodology that I use for individuals or I do one-on-one coaching.
Yeah. And you do one-on-one coaching. So let's talk about some of the offerings that are on your website there. Now, what was the name of the podcast again? Is there a .com for that, or just people find it on your website?
Check this. You can't forget this. The name of the podcast that I host is titled Is Your Way in Your Way. That's the name of it.
We love it. And so
actually, who
do you usually talk to on there, and what do you guys talk about? Who are the people you have on, or maybe yourself, et cetera, et cetera?
Sure. My audience are women. Women that have been stuck, women that are now doing well, because what I really want people to understand, Chris, you are not alone. We all compare ourselves. We all at times wear masks. We all endure some type of racism or inequality. That's even in the book. So I think when you know that you're not alone, and then you become aware of what it is that's holding you back, it's so helpful. Awareness is key. Awareness is key. I keep saying that. It'll be such a major help.
Yeah. This is one of the things I tell people. You can't solve the problem until you accept self-accountability and your role in that problem. Maybe the problem is definitely you, and I'm not you specifically, a person in the way, where they're holding themselves in the way. But a lot of times, unless you take accountability and be like, this is something I'm doing, now I need to solve it. You can't solve it, right? Because you're just literally blaming everyone else. And as long as you blame everybody else for your problems and you don't address them, you can't solve your own problems. And this is why people don't grow and change. There's a lot of people that go into different healing modalities nowadays. Some people, they just claim they're healing, and They're just bullshitting everybody because everybody knows how awful they've been. Kind of when your reputation reaches shit in town, everybody knows where you've been. You're like, I found Jesus, or I'm healing with crystals now. And you're like, yeah, that's not going to work. You need to go to therapy or a coach or something. You need to really work through your problems. Standing next to crystals isn't going to fix your problem.
Really?
So,
yeah.
Tell us about some of the other, I see you offer I think there's some workshops or classes or something you have on your website.
Yeah, I do. I have a class titled Designing Your Best Life. Okay, that's like a 3 to 4 hour class. It just kind of depends on what it is that my audience or my clients are looking for. I also have what I indicated, the Rise Beyond Limits program. And I also have What is Your Potential quiz. It enables you to go in and put certain things, the question it asks, and then at the end, it'll tell you what your potential is, either your trailblazer, your seeker, or I want to be, or overcomer. And then it kind of takes you through what does that mean? What are the pros for that? What are the cons for that as well? So those are the programs that I have currently.
And I see a lot of these on the website there, where you've got a lot of promotional stuff, empowerment mentoring program, all-inclusive promotional package, spotlight promo. So people can come on here, and there's a Design Your Best Life workshop as well. Or pick the ones that they want. You've got the book, you've got the journal. Now, is the companion journal available on Amazon? Is that where they can find it, or do they need to buy it through your website?
It's available on my website.
Okay, so they click the link and grab the copy there.
Yeah, they can click the book. It'll say book and or companion journal. You select which one you'd like.
Journaling is a great way to change yourself, to self-monitor, to cut through sometimes those blind spots that we have. Because a lot of stuff, I like using Facebook as a journal because it's so great when it feeds me back. This is what you were thinking a year ago. This is what you were doing 2 years ago or 10 years ago. It's also kind of nice for my dogs, but sometimes it's interesting to see what I was talking about back in the day or whatever. And I'm like, wow, I grew out of that. I did change that, and I don't do that anymore. Wow. You're proud of yourself. But sometimes you also see some of the bad stuff you're up to before you changed. What was I doing? 1916?
But listen, Chris, let me tell you this. In retrospect, I look back over my life, and I have journaled probably for 40 years. Do you hear me? 40 years. Wow. I journal. And there was a time I went back and looked at them. I'm like, oh my gosh, if anybody sees these journals, I am in trouble. Yeah. And then I stopped, and then I had to start back again. But you're right. Journaling is very, very good for you.
Yeah. Maybe you should convert it into a book and just change the names.
I'm scared. That's the point. Okay. I think that's a great idea. I'll hand it to Chris.
There's only a line of us at this point. You would think Chris Voss would be pretty unique, but there's the thing. Yeah, you should stick with yours because you're able to get your .coms.
That's right.
Now, some of the other offerings you have on your website, we talked about the show, and people can sign up there to be a guest or a sponsor. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, it is.
There we go. And then you've got a blog, and then there's a quiz here. I don't know that we've talked about the quiz.
That's the potential quiz. What's your potential? Yeah, and I do have blogs.
Yeah. I took the quiz, and it said I had no potential, and I should just quit and go live in a van down by the river.
Oh, my God. You must have scored number one.
I flunked it. I flunked your quiz.
There's hope.
I don't know. That's pretty much what I did through high school. So I wasn't the smartest kid. I was pretty smart, actually, but I was up to something. But what more should we discuss on your you have a lot of stuff to offer, so a lot of people can really delve into this. What with women, how do you, a lot of times where do they have to be to finally reach out to you? Do they have to be at that moment where, like, I changed when I got sick of being me. I just got sick of being me. I got sick of eating crap. I got sick of being overweight. Just one day I just broke. And I'm like, I'm tired of feeling miserable. I'm tired of feeling like I'm going to have a heart attack at any moment. I'm tired of just feeling like hell. And do people kind of have to reach that bottom, do you find, or are people starting to work on things earlier than before it gets too bad?
That's a great question. Unfortunately and fortunately, people reach that bottom. I got to a point personally that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. So I could either be bitter about what was going on in my life or be better about what's going on in my life. And first of all, you're talking a lot about accountability. You can't do anything alone. A lot of people, they have this thing about investing yourself. That's the most valuable thing. They can buy the clothes and the this and just a lot of stuff. But the most valuable thing to me is invest in yourself. Get you a coach, get in some classes, look and be careful about what you listen to, what you look at. I'm not knocking reality shows by no means. People are like, oh, they're crazy. Look at them, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, it takes you in a cycle. So mine is when I was having my self-discovery, and I still am, I'm a recovering self-discoverer.
Recovering self-discoverer. Okay.
It's a never-ending journey if you want to better yourself, if you're ready to live the life that you were created to live. That's where I'm coming from.
Ah, and people go through a lot of these issues. How long does it usually take for you to help somebody? Do you find, of course, I guess it depends on their pace and how they want to apply themselves, or if they do the work you recommend for them, right?
That's true. That's true.
Did you fix that one thing? No.
Yeah, you always hear, you get out what you put in it.
Oh.
I've had clients that want me to coach them forever. I'm like, you know what? No, it's just like a therapist. If a therapist says, okay, I'm going to see you for a lifetime, that means I haven't gotten better. Go out on your own, see how you do, and you can always come back to me.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, wonderful. And how long have you been doing this? What was your journey through your life, and then what was the proponent where you're like, you know what? I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do this consulting. Did you do the consulting before the start of the book? Tell us how that worked.
In my corporate job, being the first and only African-American female, there were individuals that were drawn to me. They wanted to hear my story. I was, other words, called the trailblazer. So I started coaching when I was in corporate America. And then I also made a decision that I wanted to retire at the age of 55. Now, and people like, oh gosh, I can't wait to retire. But one of the things I will share, it's more than a notion. What are you going to do when you retire? People think I'm going to sit around and do, no. You're going to sit around and die. You have to do something. But people, it's so many people, but I wanted to retire for a reason. And as I indicated earlier, I wanted to write a book forever. I have a vision board with my book, with me speaking, with me on the front page, me getting married. I had so much stuff on the vision board. I need to start pulling stuff off and putting some more things on. So to answer your question, after I retired, I kind of got to know myself. It was a change. Unfortunately, my parents started getting ill. I became a caregiver for a while. And then when they left and transitioned, I got angry with them. Why did you all leave me here? And I say that because I'm an only child. I'm like, what now? What? So I made up my mind because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and do something that I was led to do. And I am all about empowering women to be the best that they can be.
Empowering women to be the best they can be. We need more. When there's always room for improvement. That's the thing.
Absolutely.
You're never perfect. You're never complete. You can drive to perfection all you want. But yeah, the competitive nature of women and how they value themselves based on other women around them, that's got to be a really hard thing to cut, because a lot of that's built into nature, isn't it? It's a competitive nature for men, and able to get the best opportunities in dating, mating, and all that stuff.
Yeah, but
that's got to be a hard.
But we're nurturers. I don't want to talk about what men are, but we are nurturers, and we take care of ourselves on many instances. I think women are powerful. Look at what they do. Look what they create. You guys help, but man, come on. Can you have a baby?
Oh, we can, but we have about 10 million of them on us.
Okay.
So,
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. I think both sexes suffer through commitment, and they suffer through the work that they do on each of their parts and ends. And it's we give of ourselves to give to the future and our children and everything else. So everyone everyone gives. It's a challenge. And yeah, a lot of times mothers, they eat last, they take care of themselves last. And the one thing we've talked about at length on the show in all sorts of different aspects, caregivers and stuff, you got to put your oxygen mask on first. You got to take care of yourself first. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you're just going to wreck and crash out and then just be a mess. And so, yeah, having these tools really helps. People can definitely go on your website, order up your stuff, go on Amazon, order the books, or the journal, and that good stuff. Anything more we want to plug while we have you on the show?
The only thing I want to say, and this is a chapter in my book in the beginning of the book, I graduated. I have a chapter in there that says, welcome to the real world, right? So, you know, how you grew up and being with your family and all that's a little different until you get out there on your own. And I also say a lot has to do with your backstory. And that's why I say, if you're going to have kids, they're not a hobby. They'll work because they can mimic who you are, what you did to them. So I just kind of want to say that, to just think about it. My companion journal will take you through your backstory, and then you'll start understanding why you are like you are and why you're not like you are. And do you like it? And if you don't, then let's talk about it. Let's do something about it. So just don't negate your backstory. It's critical.
Don't negate your backstory. That might be a thing for a thing. There's a lot, probably, do you usually use the backstory to learn a lot? Is that part of it? The one thing man can learn from his history is that man never learns from his history, and thereby we go round and round. So this is probably really important to take and utilize.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Your history tells you a lot about you. Once you live long enough, you can kind of see the patterns there in your history, and you can go, yeah, I've been a bad boy and I need to do better or something like that. So that's a big deal. So but there's hope. My last chapter in my book is, dear women, dear men who are in a good place. You can and will get in a good place. So it's not all doom and gloom. It's all gloom and doom. Cassandra, it's been wonderful to have you on the show. Give us your final pitch out for people to pick up your book and your .coms, wherever you want people to find you on the interwebs.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, Is Your Way in Your Way? You can find that on my website, CassandraCrawley.com, or you can also find it on my Amazon. You could check out my podcast on all podcast platforms. You can check me out on all social medias. It's either Cassandra Crawley or Cassandra Crawley Mayo. Thanks a bunch. And as I say again, just think about it. Is your way in your way?
We spend a lot of time in our lives in our way. Maybe you should. We need to say more. Hey, get the hell out of my way, you.
Right.
To myself.
Now.
Yeah. It's so funny how we can get in. I think it's our reticular activating system that collects stuff that affirms whatever our belief system is, no matter how it might be. You can believe in Martians, and it will bring you lots of proof that it will find or make up that there's Martians and running around or something. But part of that problem with that reticulating activating system that deals with that and makes it so that we can't hold two opposing thoughts in our brain at the same time unless you train yourself. It kind of keeps us in our own bubble and sometimes in our own scotoma. And until we can see out of that, and usually we need the help of other people because they can see what we're doing. They're like, hey, silly, you're doing something stupid there. You maybe should knock it off. That's that. Cassandra, thank you for coming on the show and your uplifting message and your work.
Thank you, Chris, for having me. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. And thanks to us for tuning in. Order per book wherever fine books are sold. It is entitled, Is Your Way in Your Way? A self-discovery guide for women on how to restore yourself, learn from experience, and find your true self again, by Cassandra Crawley Mayo. Thanks so much for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and all the crazy places on the internet. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.